I am being haunted by the spirit of a Zimbabwean woman that I used to date. Her name was called Petronella. She was from Zimbabwe and she used to work for us as a maid, and she also had her own Spaza shop. My wife did not know this, but the money that she used to stock and to restock in the Spaza shop that we were renting out to him, this was the money that was coming out of my pocket. The way that this woman died with so much bitterness in her heart because of the things that I did to him is what is making her to haunt me like this. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. We are back with another episode, and the message that I have for you translated, and it reads like this. Hello, my brother. Thank you in advance for reading my message and taking your time to listen to what I am about to tell you. Please, I want to start by asking you to keep me completely anonymous. No names, no specific details, so that no one can trace anything back to me. I am a South African man working in the government, and I am someone that is doing very well in life, but I am struggling in secret. I am struggling, and my wife does not even know. I might seem like I am someone that has made it in life, and I am a family man who has never cheated on the wife, and everything is under control. But behind closed doors, sometimes I wake up and I can go in a dark room and I cry. I even invited the spirit of Petronella to come and to just finish me off, because she is killing me slowly with the way that she haunts me at work. And I also travel at night, and it gets scary when I am traveling alone. I am using a government car, and it won't be nice if it happens that I have an accident and in the car I had an unauthorized passenger with me. I make sure that I pick up someone. Either I am told to go to the Eastern Cape, or I am told to go to Joburg. Along the way, I have to find someone so that I can travel with at least a person and we can talk, because alone it gets so scary for me. And I fear that one day I am going to pick up a passenger who does not have good intentions for me, someone that would have the intentions to harm me. My relative, they do not know anything about what I am about to tell you. Most importantly, my wife has no idea at all. If my wife ever finds out about what happened back then, it will be the absolute end of my marriage. It will blow up everything we have built over the years. I am reaching out to your channel because I watch your videos at all the times, and I see how people send in their confessions to share their burdens and to warn others. So please post my story so that I can at least breathe, even if it is just by writing it down. To give you the full background, this whole situation, it dates back to the year 2009. Around that time, I was living and I was working in Johannesburg. My family is originally Venda through my father. For a long time, we were living in Boom Street. What people in Boom Street, that was where I was staying. And that side, the people there, after my mother had passed away, they fought with my father because he was from Venda. They wanted the house that he had left behind, but he fought from the grave. Later on, the family decided to move to another area in Limpopo, and I was supposed to take over some of the family business interest that belonged to my father and to settle down. I cannot mention the exact location of the name of that area for security and private reasons, but it is a well-known high-density area in Limpopo. When we moved to this new area, I was still holding down my job with the government. The property that we got, it was quite large. It already had an existing structure or the yard meant for a spaza shop. The idea that me and my wife had was that we would run a business from that structure to make extra income on the inside. However, because of my work schedule, I was constantly busy. Government work involves a lot of meetings, reports, traveling. So, because of the nature of my job, I quickly realized that I did not have the time to stock or to manage the spaza shop by myself. We decided that the best option was to rent out the spaza shop to someone else who could run it and pay us the monthly rent. That is how I met this man that was called Timothy. He was a Zimbabwean man. He came to inspect the space. We agreed on a price and he rented the spaza shop. At that stage, he was single and he was a hard worker. He was a mechanic. He did anything. He even fixed my cars at times. I would not even take the cars to the dealerships anymore because it is very expensive, the quotation that they give to you. Since this man, he was very hard and working very hard, I said that this man, he can also stay at the property if we were not around with my wife. In the beginning, I can say that things were very slow for him. You know, business in the township, it can be really rough, especially when someone is still starting out. The spaza business, I had experienced it firsthand. It is not just about stocking and selling. Things can go for months. You can even have expired goods that you would have used your money to buy them, and they don't get bought by the people, and you are supposed to constantly keep new stuff, fresh stuff that are unexpired goods, and you will struggle. So I understood that there were months where he really struggled to pay the full rent on time. He would come to me, apologize, and pay whatever small amount he had collected. So I then allowed him to have other sources of income. He started doing welding work on the right side there by the yard whilst he was running his spaza shop. After some time, he arranged for a woman from his country in Zimbabwe to come and join him to help him with the spaza shop. The name was Petronella. Now around the time Petronella arrived, I was transferred back to Johannesburg on a temporary work assignment. My department had a major project running in Gauteng, so I was away from Limpopo for about 6 months. During those 6 months, the Zimbabwean man and Petronella were running the spaza shop together, building up the customer base and getting things organized. When my assignment in Joburg ended and I returned to Limpopo, I went down to the spaza shop to collect rent and to check on the property. That was the very first day I truly sat down and started looking to Petronella. My brother, I don't want to lie to you. She was an extremely beautiful woman. When you looked at him, you could tell that this woman, she was built when God had time. She was so nice. She was very calm. I liked the sound of her voice. The beauty just caught me and I caught feelings for him. And you know, as fate would have it, seeing her happened at seeing this woman, I can say that it was a perfect storm in my life because my own marriage was going through a very frustrating period. There was a lot of trouble at home. At home, my wife and I, we were growing apart. My wife was struggling with very severe low libido issues. It was not just a temporary phase. It went on for months and months. We could go half a year without being intimate all together. It really started after my wife had a minor operation that she had. From there on, all hell broke loose because when I would try to touch him, it started with him saying that I am feeling pins and needles in my fingers, pins and needles in the place where the operation had been performed on him. I don't know how many times I had to go to the doctor to tell the doctor that this was what was happening in my life. Me and my wife, we were unable to have sexual intercourse like the way that we used to have it before. The doctors prescribed any kind of medication that one could think about, but it was not helping at all. As you know, that when people that are married, when they do not sleep with each other most of the times, they will start to treat each other in a very bad way, and they will be violent towards each other. And this is what was happening at that time. Me and my wife, we were rude towards each other. We were even violent. So it was a rough period in the bedroom. When you are not making love to each other, do you think that you will be sweet and gentle to each other outside of the bedroom? No, you won't, because the bond would have been destroyed. There is no intimacy. It had gone for months and months. We could go for half a year without being intimate. Every time that I tried to initiate to touch him, she will just say, I have an excuse like this. I am tired. My head is aching. And this made me to resent her, even though we were still married to each other. In fact, when I had been transferred to Joburg for those 6 months, I did not even care that she stayed behind. I did not even miss him when she was in Limpopo. We would go for days without even calling each other, because it was the same. Whether I was in the same bed with him or I was at a hotel, the results were the same. No sex, nothing. Because of that environment, living a sexless marriage, I had already started stepping outside of my marriage, seeing other girlfriends on the side just to get the attention that I was craving to get from my own wife. Around that same time, I had a close friend who was dating his maid. I used to visit his house and watch how this Zimbabwean woman, the maid, treated him. She showed him so much respect. She would kneel down when she was serving him with water, ensure that his food was cooked and served and it was nice, and made sure that he was okay at all the time. I looked at my own situation, and this made me to have a bitter feeling towards my own wife, a woman that I had started dating when I was still in university. My wife is a highly educated South African woman. She has all the qualifications that you think, and she works in a high position career, but because of the education, she started to develop this attitude, because she said that she is too educated to do basic traditional things that an African husband expects. She can't submit. She does not want to compromise. She does not want me to treat her as a wife. She wants to be treated as the boss that she is at her workplace. In the bedroom, there is no madam boss. So I started longing for a relationship where a woman would actually respect me without demanding money from me. The other girlfriends that I had on the side, I knew that they were with me simply because they wanted my money. I wanted to take my position as the head of the house. When I came back to Limpopo, saw Petronella working at our Spaza shop, my mind immediately started thinking about her. The problem was that the Zimbabwean guy who was renting my Spaza shop also had an interest in Petronella. They live right next to each other, and I could see that these people, they could be sleeping with each other. Petronella herself, she was someone who was not decisive. She did not know whom she wanted. She was willing to date me, but she was afraid of my wife, and she said that she did not want, and she wanted to date the guy that I had rented out space to. I liked her because she was humble, but she did not have an ID. She did not have a passport. She was undocumented. So I started to think about him. I said it is far much better that I use my power as the landlord so that I can date her and chase away the Zimbabwean guy. I decided to use my position because I owned the property. I made sure that the Zimbabwean guy leave my yard. I said that you are doing criminal activities. Even the neighbors, I influenced them not to buy at the Spaza shop because I wanted him to be gone. Since he could not stay anymore, he was afraid because I would even get the police to come to look and see if there were any criminal activities that he was doing. He then went to look for another space, but in another location. I did not even let him take the remaining stock that was inside of the Spaza shop. I took it all under the claim that he owed me rent and he was doing criminal activities. Once he was gone, I took full control of the Spaza, but I kept Petronella there and I started dating her officially behind my wife's back. In the beginning, dating Petronella was everything that I had been craving as a man. The way that she treated me, it was different from the way that my wife treated me. Even though she had no money, no education, no legal papers to be in South Africa, she gave me everything. Whenever I visited him in the Spaza shop where she slept at night, she would wash my feet, she would sit on the floor, cut my toenails, trim my fingernails, and even shave me in private places. She would even bath me, cook for me, and listen to everything that I said without even arguing. Even if I said bad stuff to her, she would just remain quiet. Later on, I would apologize because she would be sad. This made me to feel wonderful. This affair was happening, and then in my home, my wife received a massive promotion at her workplace. Her income, it was 3 times more than the income that I was getting from my government job. The financial stability that we now had, it was just too much. I could not forget about my wife. We started making plans to buy a house, to move to a nice area, to live a nice, perfect life. That was when I sat down and I started to look at life, reality. On the other hand, I had this Zimbabwean woman that was treating me very well, but the fact of the matter was that she did not even have a birth certificate from her country. How was I going to assist her? A person without a birth certificate, she was never going to be documented, even if we had a child together. My child would become undocumented as well. She was broke, could offer zero financial contribution in my life, even in the future. I had to feed her. On the other hand, I had my legal wife, already a South African, highly educated, earning 3 times now more than I was earning. And she brought financial security, even though it was a sexless marriage. Around that same time, one of my closest colleagues at work went through a divorce. That I had never witnessed divorce like that. I saw him lose his house, his pension was gone. It was just something that I had never thought of when I made the vows to my wife. I watched his life fall apart and it really terrified me. I pushed and I realized that if I pushed my wife too far, if she caught me and filed for divorce, I would lose everything. And I made a decision. I would choose my South African wife and step back from Petronella. The problem was that Petronella was already pregnant with my child. Even though I had decided to prioritize my marriage, I was extremely possessive and jealous of this Zimbabwean woman. I did not want Petronella to move out of the Spaza shop to return to her former Zimbabwean partner. So I kept her living there in the Spaza shop. And my arrangement was that I would pretend to my wife that I had an official overnight work trip or to another province. Instead, I would park my car in a safe place, return back, and wait until it was at night. And when my wife was asleep in the main house, I would go into the Spaza shop to sleep with Petronella. This situation put an emotional stress on me. So this woman, she was pregnant now. I started to avoid her. As the pregnancy progressed, she started to have high blood pressure, and her face was always swollen. Even her legs, they were always swollen, and she would complain of severe dizziness at all the times. She would say, please take me to the hospital. I would refuse because I was afraid that if you take an undocumented person to the local public hospital while she is pregnant, obviously they would want your ID so that you can go in with her. I did not want my wife to discover this later on. I wanted to protect my marriage now, and I could not let this woman destroy my marriage. I would give him painkillers. I did not know that it was wrong to give a pregnant woman painkillers. The morning that she passed away, I was not at home. My wife called me later on, and then she said, honey, there is a huge situation at home. Petronella, she has passed away. What happened was that people, they came knocking on the Spaza shop because she used to open at 6:30 until it was 9 a.m., wondering why she had not opened. Eventually, someone looked into the Spaza shop, and then they saw that she was just sleeping there, and it seemed as if she had fainted. They opened the Spaza, and then they found her on the mattress. She had passed away. There was saliva that was still coming out of her mouth. I returned back to Limpopo, pretended as if I was shocked like everyone else. They had already called the police. They took the dom because she just died due to natural causes. Her family, they came, they did not know that I was dating their relative, and then she was taken to a country where they buried her. Ever since Petronella passed away, in that Spaza shop, there is some spirit that is just moving around. After her death, I rented out to a Pakistani man who came. This man, he failed to pay the rent in the first month. I kicked him out. Another Somalian, he struggled for 3 months until I kicked him out. Even if you want, I bet you today, you can bring stock to this Spaza shop. Within a month, you'll be broke because of the spirit of this woman. Now we are living in the suburbs. The spirit has been following us here in the suburbs. At night, there is something that moves in the ceiling. My wife thinks that we have a problem with rats. We even called the pest control guys. They came, they did whatever. But what my wife does not know is that it is the spirit of Petronella. I do dream about her, but she does not say anything. I am afraid to tell my wife because I will have to expose myself to tell her that I was having sexual relationship with this woman, and she was pregnant with my baby at that time, because my wife used to ask me, why are you concerned about her pregnancy? When I would say that this woman, she is always swollen. Is it healthy for a woman to have a swollen face when she is pregnant? So I can't lose my wife with the assets that we have acquired over the years. I want to ask, what do I do? Please post my confession. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was translated and we shared it with you. My brother, what you can do, if you can track down the relatives of Petronella, sit with them down in private. Since you say that you want it to be a secret, tell them that you were dating their daughter. She was pregnant. Admit the fact that the pregnancy, you were the one that was responsible. And even though she died, but you were partly responsible. They will tell you what is it that they do in their family. So you need to speak with the family first. Let us speak with our dear brother in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching.